Well, hey everybody, happy December 22nd. It's Wednesday, just a few days before Christmas. We're getting ready to do the celebrating. We are celebrating the realities that Jesus was born. And not just that he was born, but that he lived, that he died and was resurrected. And we are happy about it. I hope that you have all of your Christmas stuff in order, all of your shopping done, all of your groceries bought, because let me tell you, it's crazy out there. There's people going everywhere, doing everything, shopping and doing all that stuff. And it just keeps me in the spirit of Christmas. So in that, I'm gonna talk about Christmas today. I'm gonna share some things that are gonna inspire you, and I'm gonna play some music. This song right now is getting radio play all over the world on a Christmas promotion that we did. And when I recorded this song, I thought, this is gonna be really not very cool. And then I got to working on it. I got my friend who's went to heaven last year, Larry Van Loan, to play organ and piano on it. And let's see who's playing on it. Dave Autry's playing drums, and Craig Q's playing bass, and I'm playing guitar and singing. It's called Silver Bells. Silver bells, it's Christmas time in the city, yeah. Ring-a-ling, hear them ring. Soon it will be city sidewalk, busy sidewalk, dressed in holiday style. In the air, there's a feeling of Christmas, yeah. Children laughing, people passing, meeting smile after smile. Every street corner you hear silver bells, silver bells. It's Christmas time in the city, yeah. Ring-a-ling, ring-a-ling-a, hear them ring. Soon it will be Christmas Day. All right, let's do it now. Sounds so sweet, Larry. Christmas cheer.
silver bell.
You know, if you got a problem with that not being spiritual enough, then you got a problem. Because God is the God of good things, the God of joy, the God of peace, the God of laughter, all that stuff. You know, everybody used to get all uptight about, well, you can't say happy holidays because that means, you know, they're trying to replace Merry Christmas. It's like, okay, you know, but in reality, our culture is such that we celebrate the reality of Jesus being born. And can't nobody take that out of my heart, that's for sure. Well, Sherry and I had a great anniversary. We had big plans. We're going out, and she said, you know, I think I just want to stay home. So we just stayed home, and then yesterday, me and Terry Hancock and Craig Q loaded up in a van, drove to Oswego, Kansas, down in the southeast corner of Kansas, and set up in the cafeteria and played a concert for the men that were there. And I want to tell you, it was really, really something special. They were so appreciative of us being there, and Chaplain Harris was there from El Dorado. He's also over that prison. And he was just so appreciative of all the gifts that we were able to raise money for, the books that we gave them. I just reordered all of the books that we're now almost out of stock on. And so it was just such a blessing to be there. But, you know, every time this year comes around, I kind of have, when I start thinking about through the past Christmases, and I kind of go, you know, a lot of times because of my experience in religious legalism, I go back to some of those experiences and think about how I felt during those times at Christmas. And one of the verses that always haunted me is found both in the Old Testament, Old Covenant, and the New Covenant. I'm trying to correct myself from saying Testament. The Old Covenant and the New Covenant. And it's Isaiah 7:14 and Matthew 1:23. So I'm going to start with Isaiah. Isaiah 7:14 in the King James Bible, the 1611 authorized version. It says this. Therefore the Lord himself shall give you a sign. Behold, a virgin shall conceive and bear a son, and shall call his name Emmanuel. And in the Old Testament, the Old Covenant, God is doing everything that he can to prepare the world for the day that Jesus comes to earth. He's trying to get mankind ready for the Son of God to come and establish a new covenant here on earth. This Son would take all that hindered and hurt mankind upon himself, and he would take all of those curses and become the cure for everything that we ever need. You know, I love that old Andre Crouch song. Some of you old timers go back. Jesus is the answer for the world today. Above him, there's no other. Jesus is the way. When mankind fell and we sold the planet out, God came up with a plan. His plan was Jesus. His plan was, I'm going to love them and I'm going to show them what love looks like. And I'm going to have my Son represent me on planet Earth and take everything that would ever harm mankind upon himself. And it's just so incredible. He would make all of that possible through his life, through his death, and through his resurrection. But the thing that always haunted me about these two verses was It didn't say it in Isaiah, but it says it in Matthew, and it says, "And they shall call, and his name, and shall be called, and shall call his name Emmanuel." And Emmanuel translated means God with us. And that was always the haunting thing to me when it got to this time of year and I read these passages of Scripture was, I don't know if I want God with me or not, because he had been so misrepresented to me, and I didn't know that much about his character because I was trapped with this legalistic mindset that I had to do everything just right, prove everything to God. I had to never make any mistakes, and it was impossible. And I didn't know that that wasn't what God required, that I had already done what God required. But it haunted me, all of those things. I wasn't sure that I wanted God with me, let alone when you started talking about the indwelling of Jesus. It's like, I don't know, man. I don't think, because I had this in my mind and in my heart that God's voice was always condemning, always reproving, always correcting me, instead of him wanting to be with me. In my mess, in my, and you can even say it like this, some people will take this wrong, in our sinful condition, Jesus came to a planet that was 100% inhabited by sinful people, and it couldn't keep him away. Colossians says, one of my, I say this a lot, one of my favorite passages of Scripture, it says of Jesus, it says, he being found in fashion as a man, humbled himself and became obedient to the death of the cross. He thought it was fashionable to come and to be a man. He wasn't afraid of it. And he came and entered into our sinful condition and said, I want to be with you. And that just, gosh, that really freaks me out. But I had this issue because I didn't know the character of God. I didn't really know his nature. All I knew was what had been represented to me. And what had been represented to me about God was very confusing, very conflicting, and very, very frustrating. I was a frustrated individual. It was easier for me before I came to Jesus than after I came to Jesus, because I was so frustrated that I could not find a way to fully, completely satisfy and please the Lord. All of that was wrong, but what it caused inside of me, because of the way he was represented to me, I couldn't trust him. I didn't want him to be around. I mean, if that's the way, who wants to be around somebody that's constantly scrutinizing you, that's constantly telling you that you don't measure up? I mean, I don't want to be around people like that. I mean, you get around people like that and they're like, they just shut down. I mean, that's the way it is. They shut down. The conversation's over. We're not going to talk anymore. I don't want to hear it because you don't see anything good in me. Well, I didn't know that God wasn't that way, because it had been misrepresented, and I had believed the misrepresentation instead of reading the Bible for myself and discovering the character and nature of God and what he is really like. You got to read the Bible for yourself. You've got to know, first of all, that God is good always. Never deviates from that. And he only makes good stuff. So all of creation, including you, God says it's good. It's good stuff. You have to understand when you're reading the Bible that he is a father. And as a father, just like you would be as a parent, he is dead set on doing everything he can to make sure his kids are taken care of and protected. And that's why in the old covenant, you see all of this stuff. God is saying, okay, go wipe these people out. And we're looking at that. It's like, well, God's mean and angry. No, he's protecting his children from what he knows about in those situations. And he's always doing that. And then, how do we learn to trust God? Well, we read the Bible for ourselves. We know he's always good. He's out for our good. He's making everything that works together for our good. And realize that his motive is always love. The motive of the gospel is always love. And so when we get to Matthew 1:23, it says, "Behold, a virgin shall be with child and shall bring forth a son, and they shall call his name Emmanuel, which being interpreted is God with us." So this Christmas, I want you to just meditate on the reality of God being with us. We got the kids coming over Christmas Eve. Oh, Sherry told me to make sure and tell y'all Merry Christmas. But we got the kids coming over on Christmas Eve, and I'm cooking a recipe out of the cookbook, out of the I'm Hungry cookbook, I gave away my last copy. We got some more coming. Christmas fried tacos. So I'm frying tacos for Christmas Eve. And so then Jessica's coming home on Christmas Day on the evening. And so sometime next week between Christmas and New Year's, we're going to get together. But I envision all the different, dynamics of our family, and God just walking in the door, pulling up a chair, sitting down and being comfortable and being a father, because that's what I'm going to do. And so I relate to that aspect of fatherhood, in that here we are at the holidays. What do I want? I want to be with my family. I want to have them close, and I want them to know more than anything that I love them. I wrote this song several years ago. It's on my Exchange album, which happens to be my favorite piece of work thus far. I don't know what it was about it. It was a real struggle to make that record. It was a fight. It was the first record that I officially produced, and it was a fight to get it made, just with the dynamic of the musicians, not my guys, but other people, and the engineers, and all the mix technicians, all of those things. But I even had said all that, out of everything that I've ever recorded, it's the one CD that I go back and look at and listen to quite often. And for several reasons, for the songwriting, for the playing, all of those things. And I am diligently right now writing for a new album project that we will cut next year. In fact, I got a new guitar back here that Sherry, she bought me that for Christmas last year. And one of the things I will say, there's a lot of things I could say, but one of the things I will say about my wife is that she celebrates my interests. I'll put it that way. So having a motorcycle, I sold my motorcycle, but when we had a motorcycle, the motorcycle that I just sold, I would have never bought another motorcycle, but Sherry wanted a motorcycle. So we got a motorcycle, but she celebrates my desires. And so one of the things that you could do is do that. So anyway, I got this guitar back here that I got last Christmas, which, a year ago tomorrow was when I came down with COVID. So we didn't really get to celebrate Christmas. But I wrote this song on the set of a television program that was hosted at that time by my friends Bob and Audra Meisner. They're great people. You should look them up. You should know them. They have a tremendous story. And we were doing television with them up in Winnipeg, Canada, the coldest place I've ever been. And we were doing a set of Christmas programs. And we were taking a break, and I just walked over and sat down in a chair, and all of a sudden my heart opened up, and boom, this song was there. And so I'm going to take you out with this and just say Merry Christmas. Oh, by the way, one last thing. We will not be streaming until after the first of the year. Let me look it up. I think it's January 4th, but I just want to make sure that I tell you. Actually, it is January 5th will be the first time that we will be back on. And let's do January 2nd. So I'll be back on January 2nd. So we're taking this Sunday and next Sunday off. So that answers that. So anyway, let me get back to where I need to be. So this song is kind of a Christmas Easter song. And it's the first words and the last words out of Jesus' mouth. And it's called God Screams. Merry Christmas from Sherry and I and our family. We love you. And we hope you have a great Christmas. God bless.
Didn't matter, there was no room. It didn't matter about the storm. All that mattered was the promise he would come and save us all. And nothing could stop him now. The time had come. It didn't matter that the whole world was all bound in chains. It didn't matter that we all were given to our sin. The time now had come. The Prince of Peace is born, and God screams. Quietly sleeping, she holds a newborn son. Touches the face of God's righteous one. She holds him in her arms, and he sleeps. From the voice of a baby with all heaven's power, he's come for the lonely, the lost and devout. There's only a baby make his presence known. God screams, I am here, I'll take your pain. I've come to forgive, I'll take the blame. My love is here for all. God screams, I'll take your broken heart and make it new. And if you're poor, I'll be poor for you. My love is here for all. God screams. On a hill far away, nailed to a cross, the earth grew still, the sky grew dark, the quiet cuts like a knife.